Welcome back to another episode of Jones Edition. Finally got the top down on the Jeep, got the doors off on the sides. It's a beautiful day here in southern central Indiana. Just thought I'd take it out for a cruise. I ran to Lowe's here, picking up some more stuff for some projects around the house. Thought I'd make a quick video for you guys. There's a lot of stuff I've been doing to the Jeep, like here and there, just like small things that I'm going to be talking about over the next couple weeks. And I mainly wanted to show you guys my new tailgate table that I made for camping. It's something that I stole from another YouTuber, Arkansas Off-Road. He inspired me to do this table. So 100% credit goes to Arkansas Off-Road Grant there on his channel. Inspired me to do this table. It's a little different than his table. Just some of the cuts are different, but almost 90% of it is like his table. So let me show you. So here she is. It's pretty much a pretty cheap project if you have some of the materials at home. I had some scrap wood around the house that I had, and it actually was this width. I never cut it long ways. I only cut it down to fit the width length here. So this is was pretty cheap for me, other than a couple things I needed to buy. But what I did was I actually sanded this thing down, and I started staining it with a MINWAX. And I'll throw the MINWAX I used up on a B-roll for you here. I used this one-step MINWAX stain polyurethane coating. It's like a one-step process. I ended up putting like 4 or 5 coats on. It was a pretty sunny day when I did it, so it was drying quick. So I was kind of moving along, putting several coats on. But then I sanded all the edges down. To get these cuts here, I kind of just measured where I wanted it to start, and I just kind of marked on the board here, and I kind of cut it out. I actually cut it out with a circular saw. I since bought a jigsaw. The jigsaw would have been a lot better to cut with this. So my cuts aren't perfect here. They're kind of a little crooked, but this right here actually kind of rests on top of there. And you you don't really have to pick it up to put it on, but it rubs. And I actually kind of like that because I feel like it's kind of resting some of the weight on it when it's stored. But this right here, this cut, it's not 100% like perfect. It's actually hard to kind of get this cut perfect, but I popped all these torque screws off here, all around here, just kind of took those off, and I laid this on top of the board, and I traced around the edges, and then I went back and I just kind of cut with the circular saw, made those cuts. Now, matching it up to where you want it to be and where it ends up, for me, it's always just a little off, but maybe you guys have a better way of like placing it on there. So the table just folds down right here, and I used a piano hinge, which I bought here from Lowe's, and I bought some Gorilla Tape. You can't even see where I put the Gorilla Tape, but it actually goes behind the hinge here, and the Gorilla Tape is kind of fat. It's kind of like an 1.5 inches. And the piano hinge is only like a 1/2 inch. So I end up having to come through at the end, and I cut with a razor blade. I cut all that excess off. And what it did was it joined the hinge to my carpet. And I'm trying to, like Grant did on Arkansas Off-Road, he didn't want to drill into his actual tailgate metal. So he actually used this Gorilla Tape. He doesn't have carpet on the back of his tailgate like I do, and I didn't want to lose this. It helps a lot with sound. And then I ended up drilling holes. Every piano hinge hole you see here, I drilled through the carpet. Some of my bits were actually binding up in the carpet just a little bit. After you kind of slow it down a little bit, it was poking holes through. And I ended up using a nail to kind of force the paracord through, kind of putting it on there and kind of forcing it through. This took a little bit of patience here, especially when I started out. It took me a while to kind of get those first few in there, but once I started getting the hang of it and found a rhythm, it actually went through pretty good. Now the knot, there's a knot on the back of this paracord here that goes through the piano hinge, through the sticky tape, through the carpet, and has a knot on the back. And I wish I had one extra hole where the knot would have been on the other side of the carpet, but it ended up being on this side. And this is my twist on here, just to kind of make it a little bit more sturdy. Now it does move a little bit, but the carpet is actually on there pretty good, and a lot of the weight is actually being rested on this paracord hole here. Tied a little knot on the back, and actually ran the paracord through one of the Torx bolts hole here and tie the knot. And that actually went on, that screw actually went on there like normal, and it didn't actually impede. It's definitely not all the way flush, but it's on there, it's not moving. And then I bought this magnet. I needed a magnet that actually could go through the carpet and be strong enough. Did some research. Harbor Freight was selling this magnet. I mean, it's a decent sized magnet. It's a 95-pound magnet for like $2.99 at Harbor Freight. You can get those 20% off coupons and it being a little cheaper, but it actually holds pretty well. I mean, it holds. We have a little bit of force here to kind of pop it off, and it's only fell off one time when I slammed my door. Anytime I close like normal, I just close the door like normal, it stays on just fine. But so I'm pretty pleased with that. Also, I think it helps having a little friction here, so it's not all the weight being held by the magnet. It has a little bit of friction here. I think I'm going to run another paracord just like this one here, possibly from this hole here. I'm hoping to squeeze a little bit of cable through here, paracord, and I'm going to go actually under the bolt here. That's how I'm going to do it. I think that would give it a little bit more support. You can kind of tell it. I mean, it moves. It's floppy. If you put a lot of, I'm pushing it pretty hard. I've been putting a lot of stuff on it. We actually, at work, all the guys were throwing all their drinks and phones and wallets all over it, and it actually was holding maybe 4 or 5 different cups at one time, cell phones, wallets, and it was like normal. It didn't sag or bow or anything. You definitely don't want to put something really heavy on it, but overall, it's a really good table. Perfect for like either cooking and stuff like that. You want to be careful if you have carpet like me. You don't want to put a heat source here as you cook. It could melt your carpet. You maybe, if you have one of those metal guards on your grill, that might help. I would still be a little careful if you're going to be cooking with carpet. This is actually pretty cool. This board actually had water spilled on it, and it actually beaded right up like it's supposed to with that MINWAX. And then the only other issue I have is not because of this. When it rains really heavy, water kind of traps here in this channel, and it gets my carpet wet on the bottom right here. I'm real cognizant about. I opened up my tailgate and I put a fan on it. I usually take a piece like a towel and I rub across here to get as much excess off as I can, and then I put a fan on it and I leave it in my garage. It's all garage kept. So overall, it's a pretty cheap project. I think the piano hinge might have been the most expensive part to this build. The boards I had, the MINWAX, was fairly cheap. I already had some paracord because I buy paracord by the hundreds of feet. I do all kinds of paracord stuff here. I'm going to show you some paracord stuff here soon that I've done to my door handles. I don't have my door handles with me right now. And then I already had some Gorilla Glue. I had to buy the Gorilla Tape. Other than that, it was pretty easy. I already had a sander. You don't need a sander. You can use a hand sander if you want to. But overall, it's a pretty cheap project, and it's going to be pretty handy while I camp and stuff like that. I've already been using it at home. I use it to put all my stuff on when I price my storage unit stuff. So when I'm going through all those bins full of stuff that I still have, it's nice to have all my stuff sitting on the table right there. So it's been coming in handy already. But it's mainly I'm going to have it for camping. If I take my gun out shooting, camping, I can load up everything right there and just have another space. You know how it is camping. It's like you never have enough table space and things end up on the ground and you lose it. It gets dark and bugs get all over things. You know how it goes. So it'd be nice to have. But anyways, I wanted to show you that. If you have questions about it, let me know. I'll try to walk you through it. Anyways, I'll catch you later, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Stay safe. Take care. Thank you, Lowe's, for honoring our veterans. Whenever you watch this, guys, happy Memorial Day.